Hey guys, I thought I would film a real quick video. I'm coming out to do a final check on the barn. We are preparing to go to our homeschool co-op, so while my husband has just gotten home from work, he came home early today to help us go to our co-op. Well, hello. Look who's come to say hello to you. Say hi, Miss Opal. Hi, baby. Hello. That's my girl right there. You know Mama, don't you, honey? Anyway, I came out to do a final check on the barn. We do a series of rotations in the mornings with the animals, and I'm just making sure that everything is in line before we go to co-op. So my husband's come home. I have broken a toe on my foot. It looks really pretty today. And so anyway, I've hobbled out here just to make sure everything's done. My oldest boy did all the chores, bless his heart. But Mom likes to kind of check just to make sure nothing was missed. But I have been promising a video about homeschooling, so I thought, well, I'm about to go to homeschool co-op, so this might be a good opportunity to talk to you about it. This is our third year in homeschooling, and we love it. A lot of people have questions about it now. It is a lot more mainstream than it used to be. You know, I know when I grew up, I grew up in the public school system. My husband did too. You know, the whole deal. And so that was just not really heard of, you know, where it wasn't very common. And so I think over the past 10 years or so, you've really seen a movement. I can tell you that I had a lot of conviction laid on me to do so probably about 2 years before I actually did it. It was, again, it's another one of those scenarios, if I can get situated here, it's another one of those scenarios where, you know, you feel like you're being called to do something and you keep going, are you talking to me? And really? You know, so, it just became more apparent to me over time. Again, you know, we've been going through an evolution as a family for several years now. So this was part of that process. You know, homeschooling and homesteading are not necessarily related, but to me they are, because it goes back to that thing in which I tell you, or I say, which I call rugged individualism. If I offend somebody with anything that I say here, first I tell you that's not my intention. And second, I tell you that, you know, as I told somebody yesterday clearly on my Facebook page, go elsewhere, okay? Because I feel that we have a problem in society with, you know, too much political correctness. And, you know, somebody not upholding the truth. You may not like what you hear, but you should evaluate whether or not it is true, has potential truth, and does it apply to you, or could it apply to you? I do not have a problem with teachers on an individual basis. I had many excellent teachers growing up. I mean, life-changing, people that change your life. And I will not argue that even in recent years that my children have had one or two teachers that I think fit in that genre. I do not feel that the problem with the public school system is just the public school system. We can talk about the Department of Education, and we can argue morals and ethics. We can go 100 directions on this. I'm not going to go that wide. What I am going to say is, I don't think you have a public school education problem. I think you have a societal problem. I think that you have an issue in general. So, you know, a lot of your old school teachers, they're just not around anymore. I don't like the way the direction that the school systems are going. I did not feel that they applied to us anymore on a moral basis, just on a common sense basis. It didn't apply to us anymore. And instead of me having problems, or with me worried that one of my children was going to be left behind, or, you know, so there's a big plethora of facets of problems that I could talk about. I said, you know, can I do this? And for a long time, the reason I held off is because I worried that I couldn't. I'm not smart enough. I'm not committed enough. Will I make my children stupid? That's normal. That's very normal. Um, and the longer that time went and the more that I prayed about it and I got around more homeschooling families, that's your key step, is to find individuals that are homeschooling. Ask them what they're doing. Ask them their experience. Look at their curriculum. Pray about it. It may not happen, overnight. It's something that may happen literally. It may take you a year or two to make a decision. There's different ways to go about homeschooling. I strongly suggest that you get some books and you read, about that. Read about how to homeschool, the different ways that you can do it. Should you get an umbrella school? We have chosen to go with an umbrella school, okay? You don't have to do that, but a lot of people do. Look into umbrella schools in your area or in your state. We just switched to umbrella schools this year because we moved. So a local umbrella school didn't apply to us anymore because we've moved so far away. But let me tell you right now, I'm giving you a broad basis. You can do it. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. So if you're looking for a quick fix and an easy solution, that's not going to be it. Is it rewarding? More than you'll ever know. I was so worried my first year. I push my children very hard. I'm not going to lie to you. I push my kids hard. I try to be as structured as possible. I keep a calendar of my days. I keep a daily calendar or journal of each child, just, in bullet points, specifically what they do. And, I'm going to tell you, the first year, this is what was told to me, and until I experienced it, you don't believe it, right? The first year, give yourself a lot of grace. Do not think that you have to commit yourself to every single thing, especially if they're in elementary school. Get the basics. Get a really good curriculum. I can give you ideas on that. Everybody has a different opinion on that. But there are several different curriculums that are tried and true that just about any homeschooler you go to, they're going to either say, that works really well, or I haven't done that yet, but I might next year because I know other people that have had a lot of success. So I can help you with that. Go with your basics. I had to kind of figure things out on an individual basis per kid. I did not... Going with an overall blanket curriculum for each child did not apply in my situation. I have 3 children here. I have 3 boys, and I had to decide what applied to each kid. I have all 3 of my children are advanced. One child in particular, his IQ is 149, so. That has its challenges because it is difficult to keep children that are on that high level of an IQ. You have to keep them very busy. And again, that was another issue we had in the public school system. They would not push him beyond his grade level. And I asked and requested it. And, and I don't blame necessarily the individual teacher. I was very upset with the teacher at the time. But I can tell you now that it is an overall issue together that, I think a lot of teachers have their hands tied now. It's out of their hands to a degree. But we could sit here and debate for 2 hours about problems in the public school system. That's not what this is really about. This is to encourage you that if you feel the calling to homeschool, I want to tell you to pray about it. I want to tell you it's doable. I want to tell you that it is a commitment, okay? And I encourage you, to explore your options. You want to meet your basic curriculum with your children. Of course, there's state requirements and different things in your area that you need to explore. But, it allows a freedom. My children can study martial arts more. My children can, my oldest child can, that boy can, he can beat the keys off of a piano. I mean, he's gifted in piano. He can sight read and he plays by ear. And so, if he feels a calling one day to practice instead of 15 minutes, he can practice 2 or 3 hours, then that's what we're going to do that day. He may have to work a little extra the next day on his math. It just depends. So, I will tell you, like I said, my first year I was very worried. And I almost gave up because of my own self-doubt. And again, just like that self-doubt with homesteading, it's a big life change. Homeschooling is a life change, but stick with it. See it through. Now we have moved and we have found a wonderful co-op that we go to every Friday, and they take extra classes, some for credit. My high schooler gets some for credit, but there's a lot of arts and singing and Bible study and history, different things like that. Explore those options. You may not want to do that the first year. Give yourself that grace that first year. Some people do testing every spring. I found that to be helpful. That is something you would search out with your co-op or umbrella school or a private school in your area. Once you get in, it's like the world opens up for you. Just have the confidence that you can do it. I know people that homeschool in many different ways, and I just think that it's very rewarding. And this is coming from a staunch public school kid, So I hope this helps. I know that it's a broad deal. I just want to give you the confidence that it is very doable. If you find that there's classes when they get older that maybe you're not confident in teaching, then again, there are co-ops very likely available in your area or near your area that can help you. For example, say maybe chemistry or algebra 2 or whatever. There are so many options now in the world of homeschooling that I can't even talk. I mean, it's amazing how many options there are. So I just want to encourage you this morning and hope you're having a great day. And if you have any more questions about homeschooling, please let me know. Take heart. If you're hearing the calling, it's not going to go away, I assure you. So anyway, if you have more questions, feel free to ask. I know a lot of homeschoolers. There's a lot of homeschoolers on this page. And I'm sure they'll be glad to answer questions and maybe give you the feedback you need. And, pray about it. Pray about it. So y'all have a great day and have a great weekend. Thanks.